Oh, there's Kat. Hello. Oh no, did I unmute myself? Unmute. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Oh, hello, we can hear you. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So hello and welcome to Understanding and Navigating Academic Probation. I feel like we should have some intro music or something.
Yes, that would be very fun.
So hopefully you can see and hear us okay. I'm going to go over some of the sort of housekeeping things. So this webinar will be recorded and available online via the college website. In the meantime, I would encourage you to have a pen and paper handy to take some notes for yourself. We hope this webinar will help you gain your understanding of your academic standing, but is not intended to replace advising in person with the dean's office or your major advisor. So a few housekeeping items. If you've never used this Zoom webinar platform, lots of folks haven't, it's kind of new to us as well. There's 3 features I would like to point out. One is the Q&A feature, the question and answer feature. Use this for your questions. Your questions will only be seen by the advisors. Pretty sure your questions are only seen by the advisors, but I already put in a little safeguard in there, and you can ask questions anonymously using that Q&A function. Zoom also has a chat function, which I see some folks have already found. And just so you know, in a few moments, the chat function with all of the entire group is going to be disabled. And we will be able to chat privately with all of you, and that way it can keep you focused on not chatting with each other, but focused on the content for the webinar. And then lastly, you'll see a raise your hand function. Honestly, I haven't taken the time to find it myself, but somebody raised their hand in a webinar a while back, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're not using that. So don't use the raise your hand function. It's not going to be a tool for today's webinar. Okay, the content for today should take about 30 to 40 minutes, so it's just a little bit after 5:10, so look at your clock. We should be done with content in about 30-40 minutes, and we'll have time at the end for questions. We will be using a couple of anonymous surveys along the way to discuss our topic today, and we encourage you to participate in each survey for the benefit of the group and discussion. Okay, so we're going to introduce ourselves, but actually let's introduce ourselves on camera and then we're going to cut it off. Okay, so we're not going to keep the camera on the whole time either. Slide. Oh, we'll go right to left.
Okay.
All right, so I'm Lily Bynes. I'm represented by the far right square. I went to Chico State. I have a degree in health science. I have a little guy, little 5-year-old there. I'm originally from San Diego, and I spent some time living in Oakland, and I also have a couple of cats at home.
Yay. Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Zeck, and I am also an academic advisor in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences Dean's Office. I am shown in the center box, and the center box represents me because I went to UC Davis. I am an alumni of UC Davis and this college. My undergraduate degree is in clinical nutrition. I'm originally from Southern California in Irvine. I played volleyball in high school, and some of my favorite things are hiking and going to the beach.
Okay, and then I want to introduce you to 3 additional academic advisors in our office. I don't think you need to see Julie and myself anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video. So don't be alarmed. Our faces are about to disappear. Okay, but you should still be able to hear us. So the last box here is representation of Brad Horton. He is another academic advisor in the dean's office. He went to Northwestern, which is out in Illinois. And Brad is chatting, saying he can divide by 0. Apparently this is a skill he wants everybody to know about. He's originally from Chicago, the Windy City. He likes to spend his time going to some of the Mandavi shows. Hopefully his students are taking advantage of that. He also taught in Japan. He has quite a few dogs. I'll say he has at least 12 to 24 dogs, just because I'm making up facts about Brad. But this is Brad right here. He's also a snow aficionado. So if you want to know more about that, you could come in and see Brad Horton. And Brad uses he, him pronouns, and Julie and I also use she, her pronouns.
So we also have two other advisors that are helping us in our Q&A. And on the left-hand side, you will see Kat Parpana. She uses she, her pronouns. Kat graduated from UC Davis with a degree in Asian American Studies and Sociology, and then did her graduate work in education at Sac State. She is a huge mixed race. She has a huge mixed race Filipino family, and she is mom to Baymax the cat. She loves sushi and eating in general. And then on the right, we have Honora Knopp. She is one of our other academic advisors in the dean's office. She is a proud auntie to Logan and Carson. She has her undergraduate degree in political science from Cal Poly Pomona and a master's in leadership and management from University of Laverne. Honora loves being outside and taking walks in the Arboretum. And Honora also uses she, her pronouns. And then one thing you'll notice about this is that this representation is somewhat of a Venn diagram. Both Honora and Kat love Taco Bell. So that's a little bit more about us. Please use that Q&A function so you can talk to Brad, Honora, and Kat.
Okay, and as you may have noticed on the chat function, I have gone ahead and disabled chatting with attendee to attendee, but if you have questions, you can chat with the panelists, okay? Now that you know a little bit about all of us. So welcome back to school, and we hope you had a great spring break. Can you believe it's already the end of week 2? We're just wrapping up, but it's still a good time to make commitments for improvement for the spring quarter. Our office sends notifications regarding students' academic status at the end of each quarter if students are not in good academic standing. The messaging you received asked you to take some action for advising with your major advisor and the dean's office based on the outcome of your winter quarter. It is important to follow up with an advisor about your final winter grades because they may impact your most recent graduation plan and your current spring classes. If you have already talked with your major about winter quarter, great job. For those of you that have not taken action yet with seeking advising, we hope attending today's webinar will help start these conversations and initiate your exploration of your resources on campus so that you can take your next steps for a successful spring quarter. Maybe on your own, you have already decided to make some changes. We hope you will hear affirmation of these changes during this presentation today of the great things you're already doing, and maybe also get some ideas for additional tools for you. Lastly, we want to remind you the importance of seeking advising from both your major and the dean's office. We would like to discuss your spring classes and maybe even talk about summer plans so that you can get back into good academic standing as soon as possible. So this is a good little maybe screenshot or take a picture with your phone. These are some important dates that you want to be aware of. April 13th is actually tomorrow, Friday. It's the 10th day of the quarter. The quarter goes by super fast, so these are important dates to know about. If you want to know, how can I even find these dates? Where did you find these dates, Lily and Julie? Come to the dean's office, talk to our peer advisors. We can show you on the registrar's website where you can find all these important dates. Some of them are also listed on your OASIS homepage. Take note that just because you can still sign up and adjust your classes until the 12th day of the quarter, please do not wait that long. By that point, you would have missed almost 20% of the coursework, if not more. If you are adjusting, and I'm just saying that because I don't know about my math, I should have checked that. If you are still adjusting your classes at the start of any quarter, you should talk with the professor or TA about starting late and the impact on your grade for that course. Sometimes a professor might say, sure, it's okay if you start late, and then you show up the next day and there's a midterm. So please make sure you check in on your responsibilities. So in different parts of the presentation, we'll have short polls like I mentioned before, and as moderators, we will see your responses, but your responses are anonymous to the other participants. As I mentioned, also as a reminder, please use the Q&A function for any questions that you ask. You can choose to remain anonymous. If you use the chat function, you can send it to specific panelists. We might not get to your question right away, but we will we will be covering it in an upcoming slide, but we will review all questions by the end of the presentation. And again, Brad and Kat and Honora are standing by for your questions. So basics.
So we want to check your basic knowledge about academic probation. Please respond quickly to the poll that will appear on your screen. During our presentation, we'll have a few polls about various topics. Your responses will not be attached to your name. So let's take a quick poll about qualitative academic probation. Take about 10 seconds to select what you think qualitative academic probation means.
Okay, we'll see when everybody has voted. Might take a little bit more than 10 seconds, but everybody's going fast. About half of the votes are in.
Oh, good job. Good job.
Okay, just wait for a couple more. It's okay. There's no prizes and no winners, no losers in this game. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the polling.
Alrighty, so the answer is B. If your GPA is below a 2.0, but above a 1.5.
So how did everybody do?
Looks like about 50% of the group were able to get that one correctly.
Good job. Okay.
Alrighty, a student can also be on academic probation for minimum progress. Let's take a quick poll to see how one can get on quantitative academic probation. Please enter your response in the next 10 seconds or so. You have a little more time.
I realize that I think we just need to say 30 seconds, but 30 seconds sounds like a long time.
It does.
Okay, wow, look, everybody was so much faster this time. Okay, a few more seconds, last few votes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close the poll.
Alrighty, so it looks like most people said a 12-unit average. And so the answer is a student did not average 13 units in a full-time quarter. So this is a little bit of a tricky question, and we'll talk a little bit about what the 12 units mean. But for the 13 units, the university requires full-time students to complete 39 units each academic year. This is an average of 13 units per full-time quarter. Minimum progress is calculated at the end of spring quarter. And academic probation is when a student completes 36 to 38 units by spring quarter if full-time all year.
That's a lot of math.
It is a lot of math, which is why we're here in the dean's office to help you do that math.
Okay, so you may have heard different numbers regarding how many units you need to complete each quarter. So here is what you need to know. A lot of people have seen these numbers. You need to be enrolled in 12 units to be considered full-time. This can impact financial aid, tuition, international students, visa status, and residence hall housing. 13, you need to average 13 units during each full-time quarter to meet minimum progress. And 15, you need to average 15 units each quarter to graduate in 4 years or 12 full-time quarters if you started here as a freshman with no AP or IB credit. So on average, 15 units each quarter to graduate in what is considered the 4-year graduation timeframe. If you are enrolled in all 3 quarters, fall, winter, and spring, full-time, and do not complete 39 units during the academic year, it is critical for you to discuss your progress with the dean's office. It may not be reasonable for you to add a bunch of units in the spring to catch up on minimum progress, and overloading yourself could be detrimental to your grades. Talk with the dean's office about how summer school units can be used for your specific scenario. This conversation could include summer that you completed in summer 2017, or units you need to plan for this summer 2018. It is important that you develop a reasonable and realistic strategy to address your unit progress. Also, depending on your UC GPA, you may be able to attend a community college, or you may need to plan for a UC summer session. Planning for summer will actually take some time to coordinate financial aid or finding equivalent classes for your degree requirements, or maybe even exploring online course opportunities if you cannot attend classes in person. Oh, I got the next slide too. I need to redistribute these slides. So Oh no. My pages were out of order. So probation. What is academic probation? Probation is when your first quarter is a single quarter of probation and your GPA is below a 2.0 but more than 1.5. So one time or more. Probation continued is 2 consecutive quarters on probation. Key word here is 2 consecutive quarters on probation, back to back. And subject to dismissal could be 3 consecutive quarters on probation when your GPA is between a 2.0 or 1.5 for your quarter or overall UC performance. There are other reasons that can cause you to enter subject to dismissal status. If your UC GPA is below a 2.0, it's important to discuss with the dean's office on how to get back to good academic standing. You need to also be aware that only UC grades impact your UC GPA. If you are planning to repeat a D or F grade, you should discuss this with an advisor on how that repeat can impact your UC GPA and where you plan on enrolling in that course.
Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about minimum progress. So as we mentioned, minimum progress is the average of 13 units per full-time quarter. So remember, that's an average. You can take 12 units one quarter, but if you would also have to take 14 units another quarter to get an average of 13. The average of 13 across 3 quarters of an academic year is going to equal a goal of 39 units per academic year. We check minimum progress at the end of every spring quarter. There are a lot of questions that can come up with minimum progress, and like we mentioned, there's a lot of math that it's involved. So please do come into the dean's office if you have questions about what counts for minimum progress. One thing we'll mention here today is that workload units do count towards minimum progress. That is very, very important. We will also talk about other things such as strategies for meeting minimum progress, as well as using summer school for minimum progress. Each student's situation can be very different. So if you've talked with your friends or other campus resources, please do make sure that you talk with the dean's office in particular, because it's really important to talk about minimum progress with us.
So remember these numbers, 12, 13, and 15. 12 units minimum per quarter to be full-time. 13 units average for minimum progress for all full-time quarters. 15 units average each quarter if your goal is to graduate in a typical 4-year graduation plan. We do not encourage students to enroll in too many units to reach minimum progress. If right now you are enrolled or plan to enroll in more than 15 units, please be sure to seek advising as soon as possible to discuss your intended plans and the strategy to be successful. 15 or 16 units may be manageable, but each situation is different. So please talk it over with an advisor.
Alrighty, so there are many reasons that students have academic challenges. When you came to UC Davis, you came with expectations of doing well. You were all very, very good students and came here very, very qualified. Sometimes unexpected challenges or situations that are outside of your control can occur. The transition to UC Davis can sometimes be harder than anticipated. UC Davis is a large university and the quarter system is very fast-paced. It is not uncommon to feel behind or unsure of where to go for help. Anything from study habits, personal family issues, your financial situation changes, or you become ill or injured and can have an impact on your academic performance. You'll see here a few common reasons students have faced academic difficulty. Hopefully by now you have begun to reflect on your academics and challenges this last academic quarter. Now is the time to adopt new habits to support a successful spring quarter and finish the year strong.
So this little, these balloons, they're reminiscent of our orientation experience.
Yeah. How many of you remember the balloons from orientation?
Yay.
So fun.
Everybody don't raise your hand.
Oh,
we
yeah.
can't see you. We don't know how that works.
Alrighty, so please take the next 10 seconds or so to select from the list what you believe was the main reason that your quarter did not go as well as you had hoped. Remember, your responses are anonymous.
Okay, sorry, I was reading all the reasons. So
There you go. There you go.
Ready, set, go. What was the main contributing factor that affected your grades? Wow, whoa, everybody's all over the place.
We're seeing all kinds of stuff.
I'm interested in the other. Come and talk to us about the other.
Yeah.
Few more votes. Might be tough to decide because you're thinking this and that.
Yep.
Remember, there's no wrong answer. And your responses are anonymous, as you saw before.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the votes. Couple of you are sleeping. Wake up. All right.
Alrighty, so there was a lot of different things, and we find that this is very common when we talk with students. Looks like a lot of people had some trouble with time management. This is very, very common. We hear this all the time. And time management is a skill that we can all work on. So not just students, but us as professionals, it's something that's a constant work in progress. So, you know, from time management to some of the other things that were going on, the Dean's Office is here to help you and support you. We see a bunch of people got sick this last quarter, and so that's really hard, but we can help you manage that and help you, you know, talk with your professors and, you know, figure out some ways to manage what's going on. So thank you for sharing. I think it's super important to be thinking about what was contributing, because that's going to set you on the right path in order to put yourself in a successful position for the future. So, really important question, how do I return to good standing? To return to good academic standing, you must complete the quarter with C average grades. So that is a 2.0 GPA, which is for the quarter and for your overall UC GPA. We love using the OASIS GPA calculator over here, so that's a great resource to help meet this goal. You have the ability to help yourself return to good academic standing. There are a variety of campus resources to support and help you. It's important to seek advising so you know your options. We talked about the factors that may have impacted your classes. Consider any changes or things you may need to do to address and make a plan of action to help you reach your academic and personal goals. Remember, you are not alone. There are many resources and advising options to help. Be aware that while you are not in good academic standing, you cannot change your major and you cannot change letter graded classes to a pass no pass option on Schedule Builder. If a class is only offered in a pass no pass grading mode, such as a PE class or a seminar, then that's okay. You may take those classes that are only offered in a pass no pass. What is not allowed is changing a grading mode to pass no pass from a letter grade. If at any time during the quarter you start to struggle in your classes, or if life stuff happens, which we know that it does, please make sure that you're seeking advising from the Dean's Office to explore options for the quarter. It's important that you do this right when things start to feel a bit uncertain. It's always okay to come check in with our office and just let us know that you're unsure what's going on, but you really want to start working on it. Although minimum progress, it will not be measured until the end of spring quarter, it's important to discuss your units with your major advisor in the Dean's Office.
You know, before we move to the next slide, I do want to mention the last contributing factors, you know, the illnesses, and I noticed the work also. Please come and talk to us in the Dean's Office about what options are available for you if those things come up again, because there are some options that we can provide for you on a case-by-case basis. You maybe even talk about part-time status instead of being a full-time student. So please come in and see us.
One of the things that I have learned as an advisor is that there's so many options for students, and it's so difficult to navigate all of those options. And that's why Lily and I and Honora and Brad and Kat all have jobs, because we are here to help you and help figure out what those options are. Because I know when I was a student, I had no idea all the options that there really are. And so you really can't find out unless you ask us. So come in, we're really fun and nice, and promise that we would help you.
Bring some Taco Bell for Kat and Honora. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, so campus resources. Let's go over some of those. Oh, they were saying no, not kidding. But so campus resources. Let's go over some of the things you can find all over campus. And this is just going to be a short list. I mean, it's a long list, but it's a short list of the things that are available just to highlight. And hopefully you can take note of some things that you might want to do. If you haven't already done so, start exploring these resources and familiarizing yourself with their services. Stop by their office to know where they are located and take the time to ask their staff questions about what services they have. They are all here to support you academically and personally. And remember, some of your fees are going to support these resources to support students here on campus, so go check them out. The Student Academic Success Center has a variety of resources. From their website, you'll see information on academic assistance and tutoring, study skills like literally relearning how to do your time management, avoiding procrastination. Success coaching is one-on-one type of coaching for your academic success. And there are a variety of success programs like the Educational Opportunity Program, the Guardian Scholars Program, the Transfer Reentry Center, Veteran Center. There's a bunch of different programs there. So navigate onto their website. It's just success.ucdavis.edu to take a look at things that they have. And tutoring is not just exclusive to chemistry and calculus. They also have econ and stats and physics and writing assistance. Student Health and Counseling Services obviously offers counseling services. We have a satellite provider out here in the dean's office. All dean's offices have a satellite program. Annie Hahn is one of the therapists that meets with students to provide counseling support here in the comfort of your own dean's office. And you can get referred to Annie or schedule an appointment with Annie through the SHCS or talking with one of the advisors here in the dean's office. We can refer you to her. But Student Health and Counseling Services also offers group counseling and peer counseling and one-on-one short therapy model and meeting with the therapist. I want to also mention the food and nutrition support. Just today, we got a flyer for CalFresh is hosting some workshops. So if you want to know more about that, give our office a call tomorrow or send an email. Our email will be at the end of this presentation. But CalFresh is also known as the food stamp program. It's a great way to supplement your income so that way you can maybe lessen your work hours and have some additional resources to food. And of course, medical resources and wellness programs are available. In the Student Community Center, that beautiful building in the middle of campus not only has a wonderful food location, they have really good soups. They do. But they also have these amazing campus resources. Just to name a few, the Student Recruitment and Retention Center, I want to highlight the SRRC because they have a lot of stuff in their center in terms of like tutoring resources. They have other learning supplies and guides and things like that. You did some drop-in hours there too, right?
Yeah, it's a great resource for students, and especially if you're trying to get involved with the community and you're just not quite sure how to, it's a great first stop.
And just to note that the items here with the asterisk are not located in the Student Community Center, but I wanted to mention them as well. I've had a couple of students mention to me even the Women's Research and Retention Center is a great place to study. They have a really nice cozy space there. So maybe check out some of these places, not only for the resources, but also good study spaces. So, advising resources available here on campus. There are just too many to list on one slide, but this we made the best attempt at putting some of the top things we could think about. Seeing your major department, talk to peer advisors, especially if you're not sure about your major or what classes to balance with each other. Talk with peer advisors. They're in the classes and the majors that you're in, and getting a student's perspective on their experience is so valuable. Google on the UC Davis homepage major card sort. It's an online exploration tool that's really useful. You'll go through a few slides, quite a few slides of just some quick survey questions to see what kinds of things you're interested in. We have many, many, many students that are interested in pre-health or pre-vet items, and you can take a look at the Health Professions Advising website for information about pre-pharmacy, pre-med, how do I get back after this little stumble of academic probation. The Internship and Career Center and also the Student Academic Success Center, they have a couple of great calendars that you can download of activities that are going on. And then lastly on this page that I'll highlight is the Undergraduate Research Center has a research conference coming up on April 27th and 28th. It's a good place to go and just walk around, see what other students are doing that can help with your motivation and exploration in your major.
So as you can tell, there are so many resources on campus, and that may have been a little bit overwhelming.
Take a picture.
And there's more on campus, and so that can be really challenging. And I know as students, there's just information overload, but that's why we have the resource of the Dean's Office. We can put together a success plan that is going to be customized to your needs. So if some of those things sounded a little bit interesting, but you're not quite sure where to start, please do come into the Dean's Office so we can help you with that.
I realized I didn't even mention all the cultural resources on campus, the cultural centers. So there's a lot of places where you can find community, and the Transfer Reentry Center and the Veteran Center are also great resources too.
So what should I consider moving forward? Hindsight is 2020. Reflect back on the quarter and any challenges you faced. How could you have helped you have a different academic situation? Examples could be use academic services, change of study space, participate in study groups, better balance of work and school, balanced course load, take less units, less social or extracurricular activities, etc. There are so many things going on here at UC Davis to help you. Even all these options can be overwhelming to sort through. Come in and chat with us to review the available resources as it pertains to your individual situation. Alrighty, so we have another poll for you. So we want you to think about at least one resource that you can use to help yourself next quarter. As you make your decision, think about how you will ensure you will use this resource. Consider creating a manageable action plan to help you use the resource you selected and add any others you feel that you would benefit from utilizing. So we'll have you take some time and read through those options and select one. And of course, I'm sure there's multiple that you would like to do, and that's also okay. But sometimes it's good to start with a smaller goal and then work your way up from there. So we have a lot of good varied answers. This is great.
How are we doing? We got almost
everyone.
Almost everybody. I think people are just really thinking about, maybe you're so serious about your commitment, it's a hard time to make a decision. But yeah. Take a picture of this slide so that way you can think about all the different ways. And of course, there's so many more. So I'm going to go ahead and close the polling. And
yeah, so it looks like a lot of people are thinking about how they can better balance school with work, social life, family. And again, that's time management, and that's talking to somebody about how do you balance all these things that are all so important, and things that you want to make sure that you're doing, but making sure that you're doing it in an effective way. Other people talked about support system, so talking with somebody, whether that's family, a counselor, or advisor. And I can't stress this one enough. I know college can be very overwhelming, and it's really challenging to do it on your own. So you really need to rely on other people to help you through it. And so Dean's Office is a great first step. If you're interested in therapy on campus, that is something we love to talk about. It's a great resource. As Lily mentioned earlier, you're already paying for so many of these resources, so you might as well take advantage of it with your fees. So that's another great one. And then office hours was the next highest one. So office hours with professors and TAs is a great resource. And we also acknowledge that it can be really challenging and stressful to talk with professors and TAs and unsure about how to start that conversation. So again, advisors in the Dean's Office, we can help strategize ways to talk with the professors and the TAs and discuss some of the opening questions that you can ask and how to frame conversations to make that a little bit of a less intimidating experience.
Okay.
Alrighty, so this can be your wake-up call for change and improvement. We don't want you to feel bad about your academic probation quarter. We just want to think about how we can frame this situation positively, let it stay in the past. What is done is done. We hope you now have a better understanding of how you came to be on academic probation, what challenges you faced, and what you could have done differently. This is your opportunity to help yourself to return to good academic standing and be a successful student that we know that you are. You have a partnership in advising and community resources to support your success.
So you've had time to think about what happened in winter quarter and what challenges you may have faced. It's time to think about what you can do moving forward. Create an action plan and use community partners to support you with this plan. Although it may be uncomfortable at first to discuss your personal and academic challenges, remember that we are your partners. We hear a lot of times from students that they don't want to bother us as advisors. And some students have a sense of shame and they feel that they are letting themselves or their family down. And we really want to encourage you to hopefully, despite these feelings, come in and learn more about why advising is important. And you really are never bothering us. And let's talk about, how to address your performance so that you can feel more proud of the changes that you're able to make this quarter. I'm a first generation of college graduate, and it was difficult for me to understand navigating the university. And I know how difficult it can be to ask for help given familial and cultural expectations. However, please know that when you're asking for advice, it is not an inconvenience to us. We are not here to judge you. And this is what we are here for. Pride, ego, shame, fear, or even a strong sense of obligation to being independent and quote unquote strong may hold you back from achieving success and your goals if you don't use resources. Students don't set out planning to end up in academic difficulty, and we know that despite this stumble, you belong here and you can succeed. You earned your admission to UC Davis, and we want to be here to help you be successful in your goals. We're here to support you, and positioning yourself for success is a partnership by actively and honestly reflecting and evaluating your own experiences, and then sharing and collaborating with your major and dean's office and campus resources. So we're going to end this presentation really quickly.
Yes, so we almost made it, team. Very exciting. So we're going to have you do this poll one more time and see how you do differently. So go ahead and take the next 15 or so seconds to answer this question. Let's see how we do.
I think we're going to get really close to 100%.
Yep, it's looking really good, everyone.
Okay, 10 more seconds. Think fast.
I know.
2 seconds. All right, I'm closing the poll.
All righty. Overwhelmingly, we got this correct. So the answer is quarter or cumulative UC GPA is below a 2.0 but above a 1.5. All righty, so same question on minimum progress. Go ahead and answer this question. There you go. So same question on minimum progress. Go ahead and answer the question, what unit average must you complete during each full-time quarter to meet minimum progress?
All right. Starting off strong here.
Everyone's doing amazing.
Yeah. So again, it's okay if we make a mistake. We're here to learn. So I'm going to go ahead and close the polling.
Perfect. Overwhelmingly, we got it all correct. So again, it is a 13-unit average.
So for transfer students, sometimes this is a learning curve because at the community college, they're not measuring something like minimum progress. So please come in and talk with us if you have any questions about minimum progress so we could sit and do math together. So summer in the quarter system planning is everything. So even though we're just getting started with spring, please come in and talk with advisors and maybe even your family about your plans for the summer. Some students it might be optional, but for some students it might be required depending on your individual situation. Knowing as soon as possible can help you with your summer plans. Take a screenshot of this. This is the summer sessions website information. I've been encouraging students all week long, talk to your major advisors before the end of the quarter or end of the month, because summer session signups are going to be in May here for UC Davis. You may want to look at some of the community colleges in your local area for when they're signing up as well. Okay, so I think we went a little bit over on the time.
Yes.
Yeah, in terms of the polls and conversations and stuff, and I know our The rest of the staff has been asking questions. If you do have any follow-up questions that you want to send to our office, you can send it to the CAES advising at ucdavis.edu.
We have really good hours in the dean's office, so we're open pretty much all during business hours. So we're open 8 to noon and 1 to 5, and we have drop-in hours during those times. But if you were to just walk into our office, there are academic advisors that work at the front desk that can help you with some of those quick questions. And if not, they will point you to the resource, whether you need a drop-in appointment or you need somebody's email. So definitely encourage you to come over to Wakeup Call. I know we're a little bit on the side of the campus, but we're by the beautiful Arboretum. And so we would love to have you just drop by the office.
Okay. So there was something else I want to say. Oh, like us on Facebook.
Oh yeah, we have a Facebook page. So go on Facebook. It's CAES Advising at UC Davis. We post all kinds of events and fun things that we do. We post opportunities for students. We give away a lot of free food in our college, so if you pay attention to the Facebook page, there'll be a lot of events such as Pizza with the Counselors, which is coming up, I think, at the beginning of May. I want to say it's May 1st. So free pizza if you like pizza. Most of us do.
Who doesn't like free pizza?
Who doesn't?
So you're welcome to come to any and all of the events. Gosh, there was something else I was going to say. I don't remember. If anybody has any questions, please go ahead and use the Q&A function here. Oh, you know, study break happens close to finals also, and that's a great time to come to the dean's office for some snacks and studying in Wakeup Call. Okay, so let me take a look at some of the questions and answers to see if there's anything that folks want to address. I can address live as well. So, so some folks were asking about previous summer terms, and so minimum progress and summer session, minimum progress starts the calculation when you start at UC Davis. So if you were a brand new student in fall 2017, and you went to summer school in summer 2017, those units would not count towards the minimum progress calculation. So because your official first quarter at UC Davis was fall 2017 as a first quarter student. But please come in and talk with us so that we can just take a look at your academic record. Okay, so, and then moving forward, we can use summer 2018 moving forward. Okay, so some folks are getting ready to go to class. It's okay if you got to go to class. We're going to record the whole thing, and it'll be available online. So if you have any additional questions, you can jot down the email address and email our office. There is no penalty for leaving the webinar. Thank you for participating today. And okay, I think some folks were getting ready to go. All right. Is there anything else that you maybe had this last week that you wanted to share with folks?
I think just, the notion that this is a normal process and we're here really to support you. And so just understanding that if this was your first academic probation, or if this has been an academic probation multiple times, that's okay. Again, we just want to talk with you and talk about what happened so that we can brainstorm and figure out our next steps together.
Yeah. I remembered because I think Kat reminded me kind of. Thank you, Kat. Tomorrow is the 10-day drop.
Yes, drop deadlines.
And it's also the deadline for part-time status. So if you're wondering if you would qualify for part-time status, take a look at the website, the registrar.ucdavis.edu. Just go to the search box. I type in part-time, and it'll probably be the first or second link on there. So part-time status, you actually have to qualify for it. And have documentation for that. So if you're working more than 30 hours or more per week, paid or not paid, if you're a primary caregiver, if you have a letter from a doctor, those kinds of things. And then if you receive any accommodations from the Student Disability Center, you can also talk to them about eligibility for a minimum progress waiver. That's something that I know came up for me during appointments this week. So, and I would like to ask any of our panelists, anything that you all want to mention before we wrap up? We have about 5 minutes left. So somebody wants to, I'm going to answer this question live. Is it recommended to still pursue med school after a quarter on academic probation? Yes.
Yes, please.
Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, 1 quarter does not define your experience here at Davis. And, you know, if anything, this is a great opportunity to bounce back and show that you are able to perform under pressure. And, you know, after a quarter of difficulty, figure out what's not going as well, and then set yourself up for success. We do have many different resources on campus for students that are pursuing different pre-health programs. And so especially when it comes to repeating classes and, you know, what is this going to look like? We have our Health Professions Advising, or HPA. They are a great resource. They have a really awesome website, which is hpa.ucdavis.edu, and they are able to consult with you and talk about your goals. And talk about your grades and what your path to the health sciences is.
Someone else asked, are we required to see both the major advisor and visit the dean's office? You know, in terms of being required to see us, when students are subject to disqualification, which is a different status, you are required to see us in the dean's office. And at the point of academic probation, you're strongly encouraged to come see us in the dean's office, as well as your major department office. We're going to see your academics from a different collaborative perspective. So in the dean's office, we're going to be looking at a lot of the academic policies and talking about your overall direction. And the major advisors are going to be giving you more of the intimate details of course selection, as it pertains to your interest in that particular major.
Yeah, so we do different things. The major advisor and the dean's office are doing different things. So you want to visit both of us. And so we'll give you different types of information and different perspectives on whatever's going on.
Brad wants you to know, Brad Wharton said, we are here to help. We are not, capital letters, not the principal's office.
Yeah, we don't like when people say that about us.
No, we really are here to help.
We're nice, I promise.
Honora Knox said, come to pizza with the advising team. And she's asking, when is the pizza with the counselors? So she wants to be there soon too. But pizza with the counselors, it's on our website. You'll be able to see when that is.
We send out an email to students, usually the day before or a couple days before the pizza with the counselors, which is coming up. I think it's May 1st. I thought I saw something about that.
May 1st.
It's usually mid-quarter. But yeah, free pizza, and you get to just hang out with us, which is really fun because we're really fun.
Yeah. I know you all are like super punctual folks, and you see something from like 5 to 6 and you're like, oh, I can't come to 5:15. I just won't go. Come to everything that we host. It's like, just come as you are.
Yeah, free stuff.
You don't have to stay the whole time.
Okay, Kat is confirming that pizza is on May 1st. And again, it is free, and you just get to show up and eat pizza, eat free pizza, and sit around with us. It's a very casual over in the Student Community Center, and we just talk with students about whatever they want to talk about. So it's a good introduction.
So somebody asked if I don't know where to go for my major advisor. You know, if you're declared in that major, it's going to show up on your front page of OASIS. So if you look at the front page of OASIS, scroll down to the bottom, you can select different contact people on there. Mm-hmm. So there's plus and minus little tab on there that you can add folks. So you can even find your intended major if you are not declared in that, I believe. So take a look there. You can also come to the dean's office. We're right here next to the upside down egghead. So come and see us in first floor of Murat Hall.
And somebody's asking, do we need to sign up for this meeting? And I'm not sure if they're talking about the pizza with the counselors, which you do not need to sign up for that. You just need to show up. I think you need to RSVP, but we'll send you an email. And then there is the appointment system. If you ever wanted to make an appointment with the dean's office, you can do that online. But truly, you can just drop in and make an appointment on the spot.
Thank you for all the thank yous for hosting the webinar. And we're going to get close to wrapping up, but I want to just leave you wanting more, because here's a question. If I repeat a class and it's my first time repeating, does it replace in my GPA? I'm going to leave you wanting more. Please come in and talk to us in the dean's office. Repeating, look in the general catalog, a section about repeating classes. Everybody gets 16 units of repeat credit. It has to be a UC for a UC grade. So sometimes that can get a little confusing if you want to do something at community college, where you're at in your academic progress, what class it is. So talk about it with a major advisor and or the dean's office, because it's an investment in your time and money. You want to make sure that it's worth both your time and money to do the repeat.
That's right.
Any last words? No last words from the panelists? Okay, we're gonna come back on video just so we can wave bye.
Yes.
Okay, so
thank you all for staying with us over this last 50 minutes. We really appreciate it. We are all rooting for you. We're really excited for you to have a fresh start in spring quarter. We think it's going to be a great quarter, and hopefully if you have been reflective and thinking about, what didn't go as well last quarter and you have a plan for this next quarter, we really believe in you and we're here to support you too.
Yeah, all the panelists said thank you for joining us. They had so much fun in talking with all of you on the Q&A and the chat. So thanks everybody. Come in and see us in the dean's office. Bye, have a great spring.